Well, hello, good afternoon everybody. Welcome back. Jiujitsu2000 here today. I'm back and today I have an interesting video. Today I want to talk about a flashlight from the company Brinyte. I want to say thank you for them for sending this out for review. This is model PT18 PRO Oathkeeper. We're going to take a look here in just a second. So you can see they wrote my first name here on the package, P18 PRO. Jiujitsu2000, I believe is what that says. I'm very excited about this light. 2000 lumens, 360 meters of throw, runs on a standard 18650 lithium ion rechargeable battery. Got a lot of good things about this. So let's take a look here. I've already cut the tape on the packaging. So I open this box up and there's another box. And then I open this box up and there's another box. And another box, and a smaller box, and a smaller box. No, I'm just kidding. So we are down to this box right here, P18 PRO Oathkeeper. So you open this up, first thing that you see is some padding. So there's a little Chinese tassel looking thing there. It's pretty cool. Inside there's a couple goodies in there. The next thing I see is the Brinyte holster. Let's stop right there and look at the holster for a quick second. So you've got a Velcro enclosure. You have an open bottom and an open top. So when the flashlight is facing up or down in the holster, you could turn the light on in the holster. The thing that I like too is I'm noticing there's a piggyback right here on the side, and that's about the size that you would need to put a spare 18650 battery right there. And then there's also one on this side. So you have dual piggybacks on the side of the holster. If you look at the back, you got a really nice plastic clip that will go on your belt, and it's ratcheting type clip to multiple positions. So however you want to hold this holster with your flashlight, you can go to any of those settings, just like the hands on a clock. Very nice. So the holster looks pretty durable. Velcro enclosure on the top, and it's a pretty good little holster for what it is. I think it's going to work just fine. It looks like it's on par with all the other holsters that I see on flashlights across the board from different manufacturers. So I think that's pretty cool that they include that. This looks like a Paracord Lanyard, camouflage paracord. You got a little carabiner on it, type deal, right there. So that's pretty cool. So you can have a lanyard on your light. And this looks like it's probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 feet of paracord. So that's pretty cool. I really like that touch right there, because in a survival situation, paracord could get you a fire if you need to do a bow drill. Next thing I see is a little package here with 2 O-rings. These O-rings, oh no, excuse me, there's 3 in there, not 2. There's 3 O-rings in there. So that's the first time I've ever seen a company include 3 O-rings. Most of the people put 2 with their flashlights. So that's cool, nice touch. That's how they keep the IPX8 waterproof standard on these lights. The next thing I see is something very similar to a very popular flashlight that I like to review, and that is a USB 2 to magnetic charging. Okay, so that's what you have right there. This is a magnetic charged light, very similar to O-light. It's a different form factor, it's a lot smaller. Now I can tell you already that I've used that off camera before shooting this video when I was playing with this light, and it works really well. So the last thing that I see in the package is the light itself. So let's take a first look at this light. Now you'll notice a couple things right here. This little part right here, you can put your finger through and you can access 2 buttons on the bottom of the flashlight here. So you have your turbo button right here and your strobe button right here. This can also turn the flashlight on and off, And then once the light is on, you can use this button to go through the modes. And it's really cool because everything can be done with a tactical type thumb position here. You also have this, you could use that almost like brass knuckles as a self-defense type item. Plus, if you get in a fight and somebody's trying to pull the light out of your hand, they're not going to be able to do that because you have it around like a ring around your finger. Now, some people like this ring here, and some people don't. Personally, I think it's kind of cool. It can be removed if it's not something that you're into. You'll notice right here, there is a belt clip. Right here is the power switch or mode switch. It'll do it all. So you don't have to use this to turn the light on and off, but you can. These are both going to operate on a momentary type thing. So you got momentary turbo, momentary strobe. This one, if you click it, it'll turn the light on. And then again, if you go push this one after the light's on, it'll cycle through the modes. You can do the same stuff from here, and you can see the center there. The center of that is a battery level indicator, and it's going to glow in several colors. Green means that your battery life is 70% or better, and then if it goes orange, you're going to be between 30% and 70%. And then if it goes solid red, you're going to be between 10 and 30% of your battery life. Then if it starts flashing red, it's telling you that your battery is below 10%. So it's very, very similar to Olight and their battery level indicator. You can see that the lens is glass. It's a smooth reflector, and it's a wide head. So this thing has a pretty good throw to it. Like I mentioned earlier, the throw on this flashlight is 360 meters. So that's pretty cool. Now if you look here, that is the magnetic charging port on the side of the light, which is really neat. You don't have to remove the battery from the light to charge it. You can if you choose to, but you don't have to. To remove this ring, you can unscrew the tail cap switch with the ring, and you can remove it just like that. And then if you want to operate the light without the ring, you can put the tail cap switch right back on. If you look inside the tail cap switch, you'll see it's a pretty nice quality build. Everything's pretty nice. And then on the thing here, on the ring, you'll see there's an area right here, and there's also an area right there. And what those do is they correspond with these little triangles, these little white triangles. In fact, you can put them anywhere you want, but that's where they suggest placement, is where those little white lines are. But you can put them at any orientation you want. This kind of feels like a socket. It'll fit any orientation you want, and it'll lock it into place. And what that O-ring does is it helps let you tighten this up, and it has nothing to do with IPX waterproofness or nothing like that. It just helps it so that the flashlight doesn't make like a rattling sound or anything like that. But I thought it was pretty cool. The next thing that you see here is the insulation strip. Like many flashlights, you pull that out, and then the flashlight will turn on. Let's take a look at the battery itself. We have a 3400 milliamp hour 18650 battery. It's got a little button top here, positive. So it looks like a standard 18650 battery. I like that they include this with the light, and I like that it's 3400 milliamp hour. If you look down into the barrel of the light, you can see the spring inside there. So the battery goes down like this, with the positive down towards the head of the light. Now another thing before I get this light going is you see this piece right here. This is kind of your tactical ring. If you want to remove that, you can, and it's not threaded or nothing. It just pops off. There's a little O-ring underneath that, and all that O-ring does is holds this in place. So you can orient it however you want. You can put it like this, or you can flip it over and put it like that, or you can remove it in its entirety, whatever you choose to do. The battery tube appears to be pretty thick. Okay, it looks like a really solid build. On this piece right here, you can also see there's a spot where you could tie a lanyard to it or a piece of paracord. So that gives you that option as well, right there. So I think that's pretty cool. So there's your two O-rings right there. Let me squeeze that past there. This O-ring right here is very important. It gives you that IPX8 waterproofness on this light, down to 1 meter, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to put the battery in. I'm going to put this ring and tail cap switch on, and I'm going to tighten it up nice and tight. What do you think of this color? This is a beautiful color. P18 Oathkeeper. It looks like a solid light. Looks really nice. Very cool. If I access the smaller of the two switches, you'll see it's a momentary strobe. Look at that. It's momentary only. Okay. If I access the larger button, it's going to go straight to turbo. And if I half press it, it's a momentary turbo. But if I full click it, it turns the light on. Then if I go to the smaller button, I can cycle through the modes. I can also turn the light on up top here. So if I push that, you can see the light comes on, and then another push, it cycles through the modes. There's low, medium, high, turbo. Now if I double press, it goes into a strobe. Double press again, it comes back to an SOS. So you have a low, medium, high, turbo, strobe, and SOS. So this has 6 modes to this light. So let's say you're playing with the light and you leave it on low. If you long press this forward button, it will turn the light off. When the light's off and you single press, you notice it came right back to the previous setting. It does have a memory. So whatever setting you're on, you long press and it'll turn off, and single press will come right back to that setting. The memory is really good on this light. Also, when you first turn the light on, you'll see that green battery level indicator. Let me do it again here. Turn the light off, turn the light on, see that? There's that battery level indicator. It's kind of hard to see because it's bright out right now. Now let's say, for example, you're on low and you turn the light off using the forward switch. But when you turn the light back on using the tail cap switch, it's going to go right to turbo. Look at that. 2000 lumens. So I like this light. I love the color. I like the ring. I really do. I never thought that that's something that I would get into, but it just feels good. And it's plenty big. You're not going to get stuck on the ring. It's not going to rip your finger off if you get in a fight or something like that. And it does give you good access to both of these switches. You need a strobe, you can find that in the dark. You don't have to look for it, you can feel for it. I know right now, if I push right now, it's going to go to turbo. Boom. I also know right now, if I push, it's going to go to strobe. I can feel the difference of those two buttons. And in a crisis, maybe you need to just disorient real quick, and then you want to turn it on and see. And then suppose you want to change modes again, it's all right down here. So you can use it like a standard light or a tactical light. It works very good in both settings. I think it's cool. I love the 18650 platform. When you plug the charger in, it's going to turn red telling you that it's charging, and green when the charging is complete. If you plug the charger in and you see anything orange, that's telling you that you're having abnormal charging. If you're doing your normal charging process, you can access the light using low or medium settings while charging. So that's pretty cool. Now talking about the specs of the light, 360 meters of throw, 32,000 candela. That's no joke. Impact resistant down to 1 meter, IPX8 waterproof. That's underwater, down to 1 meter. The operating voltage of this light is between 3 and 6 volts, so you can use it with a single 18650 battery or dual CR123 batteries. I really like that option. The specs of the light, if you want to talk about the length of the light, we're dealing with 164 millimeters. The body of the light is 25.4 millimeters, and the head of the light is 41 millimeters. This light weighs 170 grams without the battery. Okay, let's take a look and check this out and see how the waterproofness of the light works. So I'm going through the modes right now. Let's drop that baby completely underwater. Looks like everything is good so far. Let's pull it out, and we will use this switch on the tail end here. Cycle through the modes again. There's low, medium, high, turbo. Turn it off, and then if we use the momentary turbo there, and momentary strobe. So the tail cap switches are working. Let's try the forward switch here. Turn the light on. Let's cycle through the modes. There's low, medium, high, turbo, and off. So everything is working as intended, including the strobe. So this light definitely passes the waterproof test with flying colors. No problems here. It works good. You can even go through the modes underwater. All the way to strobe. That's very disorienting. Pretty crazy. Okay, here we are. We are on low. This is 10 lumens. And on this setting, it will last 1.29 days. So you can get a pretty good glimpse of what the light looks like. Looks pretty good. Let's bump it up to the next setting. This is medium, 60 lumens, 15.5 hours of runtime on this setting. And you see the nice tight hot spot. This is a thrower, but then it kind of bleeds into a floody kind of beam. So you got a little bit of best of both worlds. You got a nice wide beam, but also a tight hot center. So there's high. High is 450 lumens, and this will last for 2.5 hours. That's a really good setting. Bumping it up. Now we are on turbo, 2000 lumens, and it'll stay at 2000 for 1 minute. Then it'll drop down to, it doesn't specify what it drops down to, but it'll drop down for an additional 1.5 hours. So that's pretty cool. If I double click, we get the strobe setting of 2000 lumens. Now you can see that the strobe fluctuates. It'll go fast, then right here, look, it goes slow. So that's the strobe. It doesn't specify how long that runs. Now when you come back to, let's say, let me go through the modes again here. Low, medium, high. On turbo here, you get 360 meters of throw out of this setting with a candela rating of 32,000 candela. That's very high candela rating. Also, don't forget that this is impact resistant down to 1 meter, and it's IPX8 waterproof down to 1 meter. Don't forget the operating voltage is 3 volts to 6 volts. So you can use 2 CR123s or a single 18650 battery in here. So that is super cool. Now, looking right here, let's see, when you first turn the light, I'm going to shed a little light here just for the video here. You see that green battery level indicator right there? What that does is if your battery is more than 70%, it'll display green. And it works when you turn the light on and off. When you first turn it on, you see the light will illuminate for a few seconds, and then it turns itself off. If you see it go from green down to orange, that means you're between 30 and 70% of your battery. And then if you see it go down to red, you're between 10 and 30%. And then if you see it flash red, your battery needs charged, it's below 10%. Now don't get that battery level indicator confused with the charging indicator. The charging indicator will display red when the battery is charging on this light. Then when it's done, it'll turn green. And then if you see anything orange during charging, don't forget that's an abnormal charge, so something ain't right. And while you're charging, you can use low, medium while charging, low or medium. I really like this light. I think it's going to do great things. I want to say thank you to Brinyte for sending this out for review. I really appreciate it. I love the tactical setup back here at the back. Being able to access turbo right away. I could do it momentary, or I could just turn the light on. I also like the access to strobe really quickly. It's just a really cool function. And last but not least, you can turn the light on and cycle through the modes and do that all right here from your thumb. Very, very cool option. Very nice light. The run times are great. IPX8, what more can you ask for, honestly? So with all that being said, folks, I want to say thank you once again for joining me on this video. I hope you got some good, useful information out of it. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, And as always, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.